Good evening, Pittsburgh sports fans, and welcome to Pittsburgh Sports Tonight. If you're wondering where John Phillips is, he is on the road, and I am filling in for him. This is Bill Akins coming at you. John is going to be joining us here in about 10 minutes. Got a show for you tonight. We got going to be talking a lot of things here. We're going to be talking about the A-Rod saga that keeps on going on. It's just keeps on going on and on and on, like the song that never ends. We'll be getting into that. Lots to other talk about. How about the U.S. men's hockey and the women too? Both winning gold. We're going to tackle that. Also talk about the Crosby's injury. We know he sat out that last gold medal game. We'll be getting into that, how it's going to impact the Penguins. Hope it doesn't impact the Penguins, but I know, sources said he probably could have played in that game. So that's pretty positive when you look at it. We'll get into that and talk a little Pirates too. I know Grapefruit League play has gone underway, and they're looking good. I mean, I know it's you can't take anything out of the the Grapefruit League play in spring training, but you know what, they look pretty good. Some questions though, how much are these acquisitions, especially the bats, how much are they going to push the needle? We don't know. That kind of remains to be seen, but we'll get into that as well. And then we'll talk a little bit of Pitt basketball. I know that they're scratching to get back into play for the ACC tourney. As of today, I believe they would have the final seed. So, but it's been a pretty disastrous year when you look at it for Pitt basketball. We'll get into that as well. But there's there's still things going on, even though we rolling out of the Olympic break, and we've had Penguins hockey on hold for a little bit, and the Pirates are heating up, spring training, and the Steelers. I mean, it never stops with the Steelers, right? Never stops. The NFL never sleeps. It's a league that keeps generating storylines all the time. So that's why we like it. That's why we enjoy watching it. So, but there's a lot to get into, but. We'll have John here momentarily, big question I think that everybody's asking is what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Lot of mixed things. Here we are in late February, and we've had conflicting reports whether he's going to come back for another season. Some insiders suggest that the likelihood is pretty good that he does return. And others say that there's, a minuscule chance that he maybe hangs it up. And, I don't know. A lot of – he's hinted retirement, we know. But I don't know. A lot of things have changed, obviously, with Tomlin no longer there, and his old coach McCarthy taking over. I don't know. We're gonna get into it, I'm sure, with John, but I really believe that they need to get a concrete time frame that he needs to decide. That they just can't. They can't wait till April, which they're not going to do that. I think they're definitely going to demand that he gives them an answer by the draft. I mean, why wouldn't you, right? Why wouldn't you? I mean, you're going to have to. And I think that the decision will be made. I really believe, we got free agency coming up too. I really believe that it might even come, shortly before free agency starts here in March. That's what they're saying. They're saying a decision is expected to be made by March. Uh, hey, way I see it, the more sooner, the better. Um, he's not going to be doing any darkness retreats. I don't believe to kind of you know go in there and kind of get his mind right and emerge and say, okay, yeah, I'm going to come back, or you know what, no, I'm going to retire. I don't. That's not going to be happening this year. But I don't know. The question has been raised too: would he go to another team? I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. He is an unrestricted free agent. Technically, he could sign elsewhere if he decides not to return to the Steelers. But I really think that if he has any intention of playing, I mean, it's going to be with the Steelers. I mean, why? I mean, truthfully, if you can think about it, what other teams would really, what other teams would have an interest in him? I don't know that there would be any. I think that if he has any inkling of playing football again, it's definitely going to be with the Steelers, or he's going to retire. But I just don't see him. I don't know. He's a competitor, and I know I am not Aaron Rodgers, but if I was Aaron Rodgers, just kind of looking at it and taking a step back, if I was Aaron Rodgers, I would want to come back just for the sake that you didn't want to you don't want to end your career on a note like that, losing in a playoff game in that fashion, and B, you've got I know he wanted to play with Mike Tomlin, and um, but now you've got your old coach coming back, and hey, a few years ago when his final year with the Jets, there was a reporter. I forget what the reporter's name was. The name escapes me, but there was a reporter that asked him. I believe it was in camp, his second year with the Jets, if there was a coach that you'd really want to play for again, who would it be? And he flat out said Mike McCarthy. He said, I would love to have one more go round with Mike McCarthy. So there you have it. I mean, it was a few years ago. I don't know. I mean, do you think he maybe has a change of heart? I don't think so. I think that and that sit down with Bob Pompiani, with Mike McCarthy. I believe Mike McCarthy's. He's obviously been in touch with Rodgers. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But I believe that I don't know. I kind of believe the decision has kind of already been made. Because I can remember back when that interview, when he did that interview, right after McCarthy got hired, he said, "Any magic that you think you could rekindle with Rodgers?" And he said, "That's the plan." And so, I mean, that's that tells you right there that obviously discussions have been made, or have happened, I should say, and no decision has been made. But to me, everything points to him coming back to the Steelers. I mean, it really does. I just, I think the likelihood, and a lot of the experts and a lot of the prognosticators are saying that. They're saying, hey, more than likely he's going to re-sign. More than likely he's going to come back. And, that's what's going to happen. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. John needs a link here. Let's hold on. Let me go back here. Oh boy. All right. Okay, I apologize. I had to go out of the studio and come back in order to send John the link. I apologize for that. I am back, and John is here. John is in. John is backstage. Here he is. Let's bring John in. John, can you hear me, brother?
I can hear you now. I'm down here on Beale Street in Memphis. How you doing?
Nice, awesome, good stuff.
It's cold. it's definitely cold, but and it's quiet. It's not like for anybody that's never been to Memphis before, almost like Bourbon Street, but not as busy.
Yeah.
I mean, it gets busy down here, but it's cold. We're going to go to the Grizzly game tonight. Somebody I worked with many years ago in Las Vegas does sideline reporting for them. Try to catch up with him a little bit later on, but I appreciate you filling in tonight and pinch hitting. You're doing a good job as always, Bill. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely, John. No problem. Yeah. So, I mean, before you came on, I was just I kind of did the opening and kind of laid out what we'd be discussing tonight. And I got into a little bit of the Aaron Rodgers saga, John. We know, it's an ongoing saga, but we also know, I alluded to this a little bit, that a decision is going to be made soon. We've got free agency coming up in March, and the decision is expected before free agency. I mean, and if you're the Rooneys, that's probably your demand. Hey, we want to know by free agency what's happening. That's our deadline.
Yeah, and I kind of laid this out on Wednesday last week, and I appreciate you talking about this because I think it's important. Look, they cannot wait for Aaron Rodgers, right? It's just really what it comes down to. And I think Aaron understands that. I think they've spoken. This is all speculation, but the truth of the matter is that he and McCarthy have talked. I'm pretty certain that, prior to even, before Mike Tomlin resigned, that they had a conversation with him saying, hey, look, you're going to take you're going to take a month off after the season's done. You're going to rest and decompress and think about, what your future for next year holds. And as you look at things, and look, Malik Willis, could he be potentially great? Sure. Who knows? You don't know, but do you want to invest $40 million in a 2-year contract for Malik Willis, assuming he goes for $20 million?
Right.
Right.
And,
right. What's the market going to bear for Malik Willis? Is somebody willing to pay $25 million?
Yeah.
Right. For 2 years, right? If you're an NFL franchise, Bill, how many years are you giving Malik Willis? I wouldn't give him more than 2.
I was to say I wouldn't give him any more than 2.
Yeah. So you have to figure out what the market might bear. Maybe there's a team willing to give him 3. Maybe they give him 15, then 25, and then an option that could be more, right? The desperation factor that you have to think about is what other teams in this league are looking for a quarterback, who's potentially looking at free agent quarterbacks, who are the free agent quarterbacks that are going to command the most money, right? And where do you fit in all of that if Aaron Rodgers is out of the picture? Right. So... Right, it's like war gaming, right? You've got a war game stuff, right. And so I think for the Steelers, they would be wise. They're wise to have probably already had these conversations with him and making good choices right now because you've got this new leadership team, right? I don't even know what to call it. I mean, he's a head coach for probably 5 years max, right? I would be shocked if Mike McCarthy is the head coach of this team for 5 years, more than 5 years. I mean, they win a Super Bowl, he'd probably retire, right? Like, what does he have to prove at that point? You know what I mean? Right. If they go win the Super Bowl next year, if I'm Mike McCarthy, I mean, he'd probably come back, but, he's a 5-year max guy as a head coach, right. Tops. So how do they war game all of this? You have to know where Rodgers stands in the next – today's the 23rd. Let's just say 2 weeks. right? That's well before it, almost 3 weeks before the actual start of free agency.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you're probably like 17 days away from free agency, maybe 18 days. You have to know within the next 2 weeks where you're at, and you probably have a pretty good idea where you already are. Right. And all this, all this noise. You got Aditi kick a ball. I can't even pronounce her last name. You got her saying, "Oh, he's not coming back." Then I saw a report today or yesterday when I was traveling down here to Memphis that somebody said, "Oh, he's most likely going to come back, and he's going to come back with the Steelers."
Right.
You don't know. It's all speculation. You got all these major NFL names that cover the league for high-profile organizations, and they can't even get the story right because they're just spitballing. They're throwing darts, and enough. I think the Steelers know. I think he's coming back. I think it's their best option. You don't want to spend 50, 60 million on Malik Willis when you don't know. Oh. And Aaron Rodgers is going to, you get Aaron Rodgers back. You go find a wide receiver 2. You do a good job with your 12 draft picks, and you try to do the best you can to win a playoff game. Maybe 2 next year.
Right. Well, Malik Willis has had 6 starts. Okay, and he was 1-2. He has a 1-2 record with the Titans and a 2-1 record with the Packers. So I don't know. Like people are like, oh, very high on Malik Willis. I mean, the jury's still out on him. In my not to say that he can't be a good quarterback, but I don't know. I don't know that you'd want to take a chance on a guy like that. Listen, I think it boils down to this. I think that I really believe, obviously Mike McCarthy has a relationship with him. I really believe that they've discussed, in detail, a lot of things, him and Rodgers. And, Bob Pompiani sat down with him a week after he was hired and asked him, are you looking to rekindle the magic with Rodgers? And he said, that's the plan. And some people said, oh, there's nothing to make of that. Why would he say that if there hasn't been a discussion? I just think that there was, I really believe it's like 70-30. He comes back and is the starter for next season. I really do. I think that a lot of this –
For Aaron coming back 70-30?
Yeah, I think 70.
I think it's 99 out of 100.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's 99 out of 100. He's got nowhere to go.
Right.
He's not going to Minnesota.
No.
Okay? He's not going anywhere. Does he want to make another $20 million? And does he want to run it back with his old head coach?
Yeah.
And I think if with the right plan in place for free agency, you get a wide receiver 2, and you draft. You make this draft a defining draft under McCarthy and his administration, along with Omar Khan, right? I know everybody says he's a bean counter. Well, he's also got 25 years plus in the league. He and that staff should have some sort of handle on the draft and who's coming out, what they can do with that 21st pick. I can't see them moving up. I can't. I mean, even with 12 picks, can you see them moving up?
No.
And if you're going to move up, how far are you going to move up? Are you moving up to 2 or 3?
Right.
Because unless you're moving up to 2 or 3, why are you moving up to 10 or 12 or 8? Yeah. For what? Right. You know what I mean? Well, like, why? What's the point? Might as well keep your 12 picks and just go crazy with as many, just find as many holes as you have and just get as many players in here to try to revamp this team and make a run. I'm not saying this is a bad team. They made the playoffs. Weak division this year. Obviously, Joe Burrow missing a good portion of it. Lamar was hurt for most of the season. Wasn't very good. Cleveland's still Cleveland. They're going to lay a turd next year, and I can't wait to watch all of it. I really can't. It's just going to be the most – it might be a sick fantasy, but I can't wait to watch them go 5-12 next year. I really do. They're going to go 5-12. They're going to just poop all over themselves all season long, and let them do it. Great, because that's the Cleveland franchise. That's the Browns. They have Rodgers. I'd be shocked if Rodgers doesn't come back. Let's just say that. I'll be shocked if Rodgers doesn't come back, and if he doesn't come back, they're battle planning right now, right? Because I'm almost certain Rodgers. and again, speculation. I'm certain Rodgers has told McCarthy, I'm coming back, but let's just keep it quiet for right now. I'm just trying to enjoy some off-season time. I don't need any, there doesn't need to be any ripples in the water or anybody speculate. Let them all speculate. I'm coming back. Start planning accordingly. I think that conversation's already happened, Bill.
And and I definitely think it's happened just from what I said with that Pompiani interview. I mean, he was like, that's the plan. I really believe they've discussed this. Listen, and I said this on my Pittsburgh show. I even brought up and I should have brought it up to play on this show, but he was interviewed. I forget who it was. It was his second year with the Jets, coming off that Achilles injury, and he was asked in camp. Somebody asked him. I forget who it was. I think it was an ESPN reporter. But they said, if there was one coach you'd want to play for again, who would it be? Hands down, he said Mike McCarthy. He said I would definitely like to play again for Mike McCarthy. I don't see him retiring because number one, I don't think he wants to go out that way. And now that Mike McCarthy's been hired, I just think it's a no-brainer. He can still sling the rock. We know that. We saw that last year. I just think it's a no-brainer. These people that are saying, "Oh, he could get." First of all, the Minnesota. I mean, why on earth they gave the keys to the Ferrari to that kid is beyond. They're committed to that. There's no way that Rodgers goes to Minnesota. He's not going to play for another team. It's just not going to happen.
No, McCarthy. They have to go through McCarthy 2 more years up there. When you make that kind of pick that high, you have to commit to that guy. Look, I'll take 3,200 yards and 26 touchdowns from him next year. Right. I'll take it. I'll take it. If it's 6 or 7 interceptions, I'll take it. If he even runs for a tutty, I'll take it. Get him a wide receiver too. Continue to bolster that offensive line. Figure out the problems on the defensive side and attack, because you're going to get a healthy Joe Burrow. You're probably going to get a healthy Lamar Jackson, and it's going to be war in the AFC Central again next year. And you're going to have to win 11 or 12 games to win the division. And I think Rodgers can help them get there with they're probably 5 or 6 players away from being a 12-win team. And I'm not even kidding. Right? They're 5 or 6 players away. That sounds like a big, giant amount of players. A wide receiver, too, and that offensive line being strong. You get Gainwell back, and then you figure out the problems. The problems are on the defensive side of the ball, as crazy as that is. For as much money as they spent, the problems are on the defensive side of the ball, and you figure that out with 3 or 4 players. You get that figured out, and you're a 12-win team next year, and that's going to win the division and get you a higher seed and a better chance at winning a playoff game, and especially at home.
Right. We got Ralph Williams chiming in. Hello, guys. And he says, drop a deuce. Okay. All right, Ralph.
I did that about 4 or 5 times yesterday, Ralph. Thanks for the kind words down here on Beale Street, starting to pick up a little bit with the Grizzly about to tip off here in a little bit against Sacramento. I paid $4 for my ticket.
Hey, I remember when the Grizzlies were in Vancouver. Remember that? Remember that state?
Right. What was it? What was the big kid from Oklahoma State that they drafted? What the hell was his name?
Oh, High Country.
It was Big Country.
Yeah, High Country. I think they called him High Country. What was his name?
I can't remember.
I can't remember
Beale
either.
Street is so empty right now. It's so crazy. I'm going to come back down here tomorrow probably, but it's nice to be back in Memphis, Tennessee after 16 years. I just walked by Jerry Lawler's place. It's closed.
Oh, wow. It's closed for good? Or?
I think it's closed on Mondays. So,
John, let's switch gears here.
Go ahead.
Let's talk Olympics.
How about the USA men's team? How about that, huh? How about the USA men's team just go? And I love all the crying from the Canadians. It's been 46 years, right? It's been 46 years, and we win a gold medal. The best part about all of this is the Canadians crying about the better team. Who was the better team? I love the banner. Did you see the banner that was floating around on social media today where we were the better team for most of the game? I mean, isn't that just amazing? I was flying out this way. I got into my connector was in Charlotte, and it was 1-0. It was the end of the first period, and I'm like, I got to get on this little plane and fly. By the time I landed in Memphis yesterday, it 2-1 in overtime. I'm like, oh, this is amazing, because I'm too cheap to pay for the airline Wi-Fi. But besides that, It was look spectacular. That people are making a big deal about Kash Patel being there. Who cares? People are making a big deal about the president calling. That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to take a call from the president because guess what? They're Americans at the end of the day. Americans at the end of the day, and USA will always be number one. And even though they didn't have a great Olympics, they didn't win all the medals that they usually do. They performed extremely well in the best events, which were the hockey. They represented the country extremely well. All of them, all of the athletes, even the ones that took fire for saying what they said at the beginning. I said 2 weeks ago, this is America. We have freedom of speech. And if a reporter's going to ask you a controversial question and you have an answer that some people don't like, guess what? That's the way it is. That's the way it is in this country. People don't say things that you like too freaking bad. You have a right to say it, and you're absolutely in the right to say how you feel. I don't agree with it, but who cares? I support all of it. And great effort by the hockey team yesterday. I mean, I don't care about the 3-on-3 either. I'm glad. Who the hell wants to watch 3 overtimes? Nobody wants to watch 3 overtimes. I don't want to watch 3 overtimes. No. I thought the 3-on-3 was fantastic. I'm glad it ended quickly and we won gold. And that's all that really matters at the end of the day. And hey, Canada, guess what? I got 2 words for you.
Yeah. We got Mean Green chiming in. Canadians can keep crying because the USA, us wins the gold. Take that, Canada. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what. Who I thought should have had the MVP was Connor Hellebuck. I mean, wow. I mean, that guy was just phenomenal.
Yeah, he was a wall. He was a great wall of America. There's no question about it. And I know Connor McDavid has taken a lot of heat. I'll give him credit. I give Sidney Crosby credit, both, and especially Crosby, because he didn't play and he answered questions afterwards as to why he didn't play. But more importantly, McDavid stood up in front of the press and took the loss, I thought, fairly well. And that's what leaders do. I know people have been mocking him the last 24 hours, 36 hours, whatever it is. McDavid will eventually get he'll get his flowers eventually, right? Like that kid's going to win a Stanley Cup somewhere. If it isn't Edmonton, he'll go somewhere else and win a Stanley Cup. He'll get another crack at the Olympics someday and probably lead Canada to gold. He'll have his moment. He's trucking, and I know there's been some other like World Hockey Championships and God knows what other tournaments he's finished second place in or runner up in. He'll get his eventually because he's an amazing player. And, I find it amusing that, the trolling online. I mean, I'm not saying I don't participate in a little bit of trolling every once in a while, but for somebody to mock McDavid and say, second place again, he'll get his eventually, right? He's that good, and eventually he'll eventually find gold in the Olympics and win a Stanley Cup. It's coming his way. I can assure you that.
Well, look how long it took Ovechkin to win a cup, right? I mean, it took him a long time.
Forever.
Yeah.
It took him like 16, 17 years. Yeah, it took him a long time.
Yeah. So we got Mean Green, the USA goalie deserves to be MVP. Yeah, Connor Hellebuck stopping 41 of 42 shots. He was just like you said, he was the wall. He was the great wall that we had in that.
He was. And just one other thing I'll say about him. And the MVP voting, it turns out that the MVP votes are taken at the end of the first period. I saw Josh Yohe from at The Athletic, formerly of the Trib, and I think he was at the Post-Gazette at one point in time. Yeah. Yohe made it very clear that the voting came way too early, right? Way too early, first period. Oh, yeah. You can't have that, especially in the digital era. You guys you can text people, you can email people, you can get votes tabulated pretty quickly. They should have probably held that with like 5 minutes to go in the third, or even at the end of the third period. It's not like they can't tabulate as soon as the game is over. Hey, you got 10 minutes to make a decision, and you should be able to do that pretty quickly if you're in the media and paying attention. That's probably something that could be reworked, but I don't care. He played fairly well. He helped them get to the gold medal game. And McDavid, he's a bridesmaid again, but eventually he'll be a bride eventually, or a husband. I'm not really sure. In this world, can anybody really be sure, Bill?
No, there can't. I just have a freaking stink bug on the bill of my hat. I was seeing something out of the corner of my eye. Oh my gosh, I hate these things. So
make sure we get credit for him watching the show. By the way,
well, yeah, he's gonna push the like button one way or the other here.
nice.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, McDavid's he's gonna like you said, he's gonna get his flowers eventually, no doubt about that. People want to troll him. I mean, it is what it is. I mean, there's people that I mean. I think they look and say, "Hey, this guy's been in the league 10 years and he hasn't won anything." But as I alluded to, neither did Ovechkin. Ovechkin, it took him a while to win the cup. It took him, like you said, 16 years to win the cup.
Yeah, it took him a long time, and he had some pretty talented players around him for quite a while. I mean, it wasn't like Lemieux. I mean, Lemieux's rise through the NHL echelon took 6 years, right? I mean, but that was because of an amazing trade that was pulled off in 1990 to bring Ron Francis here, and Ulf Samuelsson, and they managed to pull off the trade of the century for the Penguins with Hartford and pulled a bunch of players out of nowhere, and they win 2 cups back to back. And for obviously for Ovechkin it took a lot longer, but he got there eventually, so hats off to him. But I think McDavid will eventually win a Stanley Cup. I can't see how it's it wouldn't happen. Whether it's in Edmonton or not, I don't know. I don't know if Canada is cursed, right? They haven't won a Stanley Cup since '93. When I was a college in my 5th last year at Edinburgh, watching Montreal beat the LA Kings and Wayne Gretzky, it's been that long, and it may continue. Who knows? But eventually he'll win a Stanley Cup. I'm almost certain of that.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. And it might not be with Edmonton, but that's just how it is. It may be with somebody else, but I think he will get there. I like the tribute to Johnny Gaudreau. I love that at the end. I thought that was very classy. I parading the number 13 jersey around. They brought the kids on the ice. I just thought that was great. I just thought that they showed the family, in the stands. The wife had tears in her eyes. That was just such a powerful moment, and kudos to those guys, And I liked how they're in the locker room singing. I forget, it was a Toby Keith song that they were singing. Red, White, and Blue. They were singing the Red, White, and Blue song that Toby Keith had. It was just amazing. And then the Jack Hughes, his what he said, when they interviewed him was just great. It was gold. The whole way around, it was gold. So I don't know. John, looks like you froze there, my friend. So, there you're back. Okay. You froze there for a second.
I know it's a little kooky down here right now. I'll hang out with you for a few minutes. I can't thank you enough for doing the show for me tonight. My travel schedule's starting to get really crazy right now. I'm very grateful for you. I've told people this a bunch of times. You've done great work with me, and I appreciate it. And it's been fun to do all of this. I don't care if it's one person or 100 people or a couple thousand people, whoever's watching. Hopefully, you're finding some entertainment in all of this. And as we get closer to the NFL draft, just know that we're trying to put something big together here, and it's been real fun so far. This will be the only show, by the way, if anybody is watching this tonight. This will be the only show this week we do on PST. We'll be back next week, most likely, with 3 shows: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And Bill, you're a good human being to be able to host this for me tonight. I appreciate it.
Hey, it's my pleasure, John. My pleasure. So, I guess let's segue real quick before we let you go. Let's segue real quick to Sidney Crosby. We dodged a bullet. I mean, there's no doubt about it. The Penguins dodged a major bullet. It's just this was what I was really afraid of happening. When they went to the Olympics, I'm like, oh my gosh, here we go. And thank God it wasn't as bad as what it could have been. Do you think he plays Thursday? They got the Devils at home. Do you think he play? I mean, he could have played. Technically they said he could have played in that gold medal game. And they said he was kind of iffy. But
Is that Thursday game at home? That's a home game, right?
Home game, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with him not playing. Okay,
Right.
let's just say that first and foremost. I don't have a problem with him not playing. The truth of the matter is that you're going to take these kind of risks when you allow players to go off of contract into a situation where they're playing for their national country, right? Look, they were trying to win gold medals, right? He took a big hit. And yeah, he sustained an injury, and he ended up not playing in the last two games. If he does not play Thursday, I'm okay with it. If he doesn't play in the next game, I'm okay with it, because they have so many games that they have to play in such a short period of time. If he has to take an extra game or two off, they'll figure it out.
Right.
Even if they don't get any points and people are going to complain, these guys only get so many opportunities to play for gold medals in the Olympics. I have no problem with Crosby or any NHL player going to their host nation to play for a gold medal. And if they get hurt, that's part of the business, right? That's part of the business. So if he doesn't play Thursday, if he doesn't play in 2 or 3 games, I'm okay with it. If he starts to miss 4, 5, 6, 7, then you got a concern right there. That's the main thing that I would be worried about. If he misses more than 2 or 3 straight games coming out of the break, that's the only thing that really concerns me. But I think he'll be back on Thursday, most likely. If he doesn't play, it's okay. As long as he's back within the first couple of games, I think he'll be fine.
Well, I'll be down there at the arena working. So, their player entrance is right by our warehouse. I always see the guys coming. So I think he'll be. I definitely think he'll be back on the ice.
Well, then I'll expect 2 seats on the ice from you on Thursday, because I'll be back.
All right, John. Sounds good. What'd you think about sad day for Pirates with the passing of Mazeroski? Boy, I mean, what a guy. I mean, probably one of the best walk-off home runs, I think, in probably, I mean, even to this day in baseball history, right? I mean, can you think of any other walk-off home run to win a World Series? Maybe Joe Carter in '93 against the Phillies.
I watched that game. I watched that home run live. And this is a true story. I hate to even say this. I don't know if anybody's watching this. I watched that home. You want to take a guess at where I watched that home run live? I watched that home run live.
I was going to say Chauncey's.
At a strip club in Wall, PA. I'm not even kidding you. Me and my friend. It was Halloween. It was right around Halloween. If it wasn't the 31st, it was Halloween. And they were.
Yeah.
The Wall Hotel was having a Halloween party. The strip club in Wall. I don't even know if that place is still open or not, but I was at a strip club with a friend of mine on Halloween watching that happen. We actually watched that happen live. The most amazing thing.
I was in 6th grade. My parents let me stay up to watch it, and I can remember that, But what do you? I mean, very.
It's easily
89.
Here's what I'll say. It's easily the greatest play in the history of the World Series, which means it's the greatest play in the history of baseball. Okay. And you have to, Carter's is probably up there. I hate Pete Rose 42-56 is 41-92, I should say, is up there. Gibson's home run is up there, but it's the greatest play in the history of the World Series, which makes it the greatest play in baseball history. That's number one. Okay, that's number one. And you can talk about Aaron's 715 and all of that. World Series trumps that record. Okay, and it's probably top, if you're talking about American sports, top 5 all time. Top 5 all time. So, I mean, and it was my mother's favorite player. My mother absolutely loved Maz. She loved Maz and she loved Clemente, and she talked about them amazingly. I got to meet Maz at a sports auction. Excuse me. I got to meet Maz at a sports auction I did years ago, and my mother bought. He had a frame 60. Him coming around third. She signed. I had that for years. My mother got a chance to meet him because, I was working for Myasthenia Gravis Association doing sports auctions years and years ago, and great human being. He was an ambassador to the baseball world, especially for the Pirates, certainly. And, the Pirates Nation has lost a great name, arguably, maybe one of the 2 or 3 most famous names, right? And you're talking about Honus Wagner, Pie Traynor, obviously Clemente, Stargell, right? You can talk about all of those great names. Maz is right there. He's probably top 5 for sure. And that was a series where they got obliterated by the Yankees. I think they were outscored 55-27.
Yeah.
I think that was somewhere in that range. And of course, they scored 10 in that last game, right? Which means they scored 17 in 6 games, and they managed to win 3 of them. They managed to win 3 of those with 17 runs somehow. It's amazing. R.I.P. Maz, incredible, and turned more double plays, by the way, Bill, turned more double plays with more partners than anybody in baseball history.
Yeah.
How about that?
Right. Yeah. It was funny. Yesterday I was listening to the Pirates. They were playing the Tampa Bay Rays. I was listening. John Wayner commented that he said, his last alumni game, he said, I turned a double play with him. He said I was always, very friendly with Maz, and he's like, he was a good friend of mine. And, he goes, but I'm proud to say that his last alumni game, he goes, him and I turned a double play together. So, which I thought was pretty cool. But I tell you what, my dad was actually in the Philippines in the Army. He was at Clark Air Force Base. He told me he listened to that game on the radio, on Armed Forces Network radio, over from Clark Air Force Base. So he has memories of that as well. I mean, he was, but yeah, I mean, he's 89, good life, long life, and what a staple in the Pirates organization. So.
All right, buddy. I'm going to head over to the basketball game. I can't thank you enough for hosting the show this evening. You're the best. We'll talk to everybody next Monday. And, of course, always Wednesday nights, 8 o'clock, the Pittsburgh Sports Desk, and Thursdays, Gridiron Weekly. Thank you, Bill. I appreciate you hosting tonight.
All right, John. Enjoy the game.
See ya.
All right. Well, there you have it, everybody. Yeah, we'll get into the Pirates too. I know we'll be talking to Pirates pretty heavy on Wednesday night. I got some questions that I want to ask. I have actually 5 questions going into this season that I'm gonna pose to the rest of the guys on Wednesday night. But so far so good. I mean, I know it's spring training and but. I don't know. I'm hoping that these guys, these acquisitions that they got, move the needle. People are picking games. I mean, listen, I think they could have 83 wins this year. I do. I think that's, not out of the question. So we got Derpy chiming in. Yo, Derpy, what's up, brother? All right, last couple moments here. We're gonna wrap it up here. Wanted to talk a little bit of Pitt basketball here. Pitt's fighting to stay in the mix for the ACC tournament. Had a crucial victory over Notre Dame, snapping a 5-game losing streak. Trying to keep their hopes alive. If the season ended, they said they'd be fighting for one of the final seeds in the ACC tournament field. Listen, this team has been an absolute disaster this year. I mean, I just, hey, the Panthers have a challenging final stretch. You've got Stanford, you've got Cal, you've got Florida State, and you got a finale with Syracuse. It's they would likely need to win at least, I would say probably at least 2 more games to secure, to even secure a spot in Charlotte for that tournament. I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens with that. I just I don't have a lot of faith in Pitt basketball, and why would you? I mean, really, why would you have a lot of faith in them when they're 10-17 and 3-11 in the ACC? Need I say any more? So, Derpy's chiming in. I don't think your bullpen isn't strong enough. Starting pitching is good enough, though. Yeah, maybe. I agree. There might be a little bit of weakness in the bullpen, maybe, Derpy. You might be onto something there, brother. All right, everybody. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you for tuning in tonight. John's going to be back next week. We're only going to have one show for PST, and that's tonight. He is on the road, but he will be back next week. And as he alluded to, I think he's going to be doing 3 shows next week. We've got the Pittsburgh Sports Desk coming up on Wednesday night. Tune in for that. We also have, as always, we've got the Final Word with Maddie B, Sunday through Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Couple other shows that we've got on the network. We've got the Philly Friday Frenzy show with Al, Fridays at 9 p.m. We've got the Philly AM Sports with Al and Mike, and that's Sundays at 9 a.m. And then we've got our Pittsburgh Sports Desk, like I said, Wednesday night at 8 p.m. And we've got Gridiron Weekly as well. That's going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. And we get into a lot of things. We'll talk NFL, NCAA, all that. So, all right, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in. We will be back. Like I said, John will be back next week with the regular shows and the regular times, and he'll be doing that next week. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it, and I hope everybody has a good week.